Okay, so this is probably one of the craziest things that I've seen as a headline, right? James Gunn, Superman is an immigrant. Yes!
Yeah.
Other news.
He's from
Water,
the planet
wet.
Krypton.
He's
not even
literally,
from this planet.
definitionally a fucking immigrant.
Good, you read the comics. Good for you.
Good, you did
Holy
a simple Google
shit.
search.
What? Like, you don't have the right to be upset if you don't understand this.
Exactly.
You forfeited that right if you don't know that Superman isn't it. Like, literally, the creators of Superman did so as an immigration story. It's an allegory for their lives. That's why they created the character the way they did. It's about Jewish immigration. That's the story.
God, watch. Now they're going to post, oh no, guys, Batman is an orphan. Does that mean we're putting this thing against parents?
Spider-Man lives in New York and got bit by a spider. Oh.
Spider-Man's
Oh no, broke kid
What?
lives in big city.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billionaires' parents get killed in an alley. Outrage. Oh no. Like, what are we going to do?
Other billionaire makes weapons for terrorists.
So this is the full, there was like smaller clips. This is the whole 30-second segment, I guess. So let's see what she...
I don't want to hear
the
her voice.
Yankees at Mets game yesterday at Citi Field. Go Yanks! And you should see the people sitting for the national anthem for "God Bless America." It's really just, I can't believe that we've come down to that. And
Super woke. Wow.
Super
wait,
woke.
Hold on. She's about to say the worst part of this whole thing.
No, I get it, but I just want to read the thing here. So Super Woke, iconic hero movie to embrace pro-immigration themes.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go on here. So she's mad that people were sitting for God Bless America. Okay. We have bigger problems in the world, so get fucked, Kelly.
Go touch fucking grass.
I don't know. We don't go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
Wow.
Is it superimposed
He thought he
or it
took-
actually says that?
Well, the funny thing about that
Run
was
that
they made up the lie about MS-13 being on Kilmar Abrego's hand. So he's literally making fun of their statement about an immigrant.
Rewind that back to the ideology comment.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Ideology onto us.
Oh,
I
hold on,
wonder if
hold on.
it'll be and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be
Pause.
successful.
You know,
You don't go to the theater to be lectured and have somebody throw their ideology onto you. You do if it's the one you agree with.
Yeah,
The Patriot.
true.
The
Because
freaking Patriot.
Because she just before saying this statement, guys, hold on. I'm gonna drop like big bomb on this one, right? Like this is a big one. Right before this statement, she was upset that people were sitting for God Bless America because that is her ideology.
Make up
So
your
she was
goddamn
mad. She was mad that people were not participating in what she believes is her ideology, and then pivots to the fact that a superhero story literally about immigration
Right.
is somehow preaching ideology.
And because if it was her own ideology, you know she would be singing its praises.
Yeah.
My God, I cannot stand this woman.
No, I can't stand her either. I'm
Ugh.
surprised. Where did they dig her up from? She looks like she's the Crypt Keeper's wife. Like, I don't even get, like,
That is so goddamn funny, but that's
what?
accurate.
Like, where did they? I thought she disappeared into the woods. Didn't a house fall on her or something? I mean, I feel like.
It was a next door. Never mind.
I just,
Honestly, if you don't know the character, don't talk about him. Jeez.
but that's this whole. So that is the 3Dub. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. So many people have this, and I said this earlier. These parasocial relationships with things that they think that they have control over, and they don't know even the basic stuff about it. The basic stuff.
When every like Joe Blow around the corner at least knows who Superman is.
Right. No, I mean this is something.
who's blowing Joe?
Wow.
You know, this happens a lot with like these news things where it's like, oh, something's
Sorry.
getting very
Well, yeah.
popular. Let's talk about it. Like again, we were talking about back in Party Nation. Same thing happened with the Joker too.
Joker, yeah.
Oh yeah, the first Joker. I'm sorry, the first
Yeah,
Joker,
Joker
where
one.
every news station jumped on it. It was like, oh, this is going to affect your family. This is going to affect the way you live your life over the next week. Be
This
careful.
is going to
Be
inspire
whatever.
violence.
Right, and it helped the movie. It incredibly helped the
And-
movie. Actually, it made $1 billion
To the
because
violence
of
point,
that.
So
there
what?
was
So
a fight that broke
what
out on
happens
theater.
if Superman, after all of this, ends up making $1 billion? What's their pivot on that one? What are they going to say at that point?
when everyone's
they
throwing
bought
stones in a
they
glass
they
house.
bought
Fuck
they
up.
bought it.
George
Yeah,
Soros
they-
paid people to go see the movie.
Yeah, like they're
Yeah.
paying people, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, remember they had an issue with it's
doesn't-
gonna be an issue with everything. The same thing with Joker 2 with and I know we all had our issues with it, but the
It's just a
infamous
bad movie.
cancer storyline with Superman and Lois, people had a problem with that. It didn't
Mhm.
make national news, but that's all you saw online. I don't watch Superman and have to hear about cancer.
And that show still won multiple awards.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, so let's hear what James says. I think this is the same reporter that's always like, is this the gayest show ever when they were talking about Agatha all along?
Yeah.
He's a
Nobody
little
likes
cringy as a reporter. I'm not a big fan of his, but let's see what James Gunn says. And I think didn't Sean say something as well, you said? Like Sean
Yeah,
said
Sean
it.
had a really
Hey,
good answer.
why do they sound exactly alike?
I don't know.
Is that
It's
brothers?
It's creepy.
Oh,
I don't
wait,
sound like my brother.
Wait, is this the variety
Do
reporter?
you
I
sound
think
like
it
your
is?
dad?
If you're asking that question, Jake, the answer is yes. If you're asking that
God
question.
damn it.
Here we go.
You said it's an immigrant story. It's a political movie. MAGA today is going nuts. What do you have to say to MAGA?
That.
I don't have anything. I think this movie's for everybody. I don't have anything to say to anybody. Like I'm not here to judge people. I think this is a movie about kindness, and I think that's something everyone can relate to.
So I have to say, that was a very classy fucking,
Yeah.
he swiveled on that. He served it. He twerked on it. That was the best comeback. He gooned to it. He did everything he needed to do to make that sound as polished as possible. Because that's the thing. Superman's story, if he is supposed to represent... Keep in mind, this is the same group of people that says that Superman should say truth, justice, the American way. So they're admitting that they want Superman to represent American ideals, but they want to subtract the fact that he's an immigrant story.
I'm glad that statement has been kind of reworked in recent media to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Well, I think it's a human way now. I think he says the human way.
I hope that's not true. I don't like.
I believe that's it, right? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
That's
Isn't
what
that
they
it-
said, but I'm hoping it's.
I think a better tomorrow is a more timeless and honestly better thing of what Superman has evolved into, because I know Darren has heard me say this so many times in recent days, but like they say in Superman and Lois, doesn't give his allegiance to America because he gave it to the world a long time ago, and that
also
should be
he's not he's also not just for the humans, right? Like
Right.
you have like Martian Manhunter, like he'll be sitting here being like, what the hell, man? I thought you were here for me too. What about this is a movie about immigration. Superman's, there's no way he's the only one that's come to Earth from other planets.
Well, I mean, obviously, Hawkgirl.
Hawkgirl,
And
yeah.
Green Lanterns exist, which means that they've had some sort of
Yeah.
interaction with aliens. So,
Yeah.
Metamorpho can change into anything.
Right, yeah, that's
So,
dumb.
yeah. So, anyway.
You even have alien dogs. So
Yes,
yeah.
true. Okay, so before we listen to, as I read, before we listen to what he has to say here, my issue with all of this drama is this is a Variety reporter. They're the ones that broke the story. They're the ones that wrote the headline. And I don't know when this interview was done. It didn't say when. It just came out today. But I don't know when the interview was actually done.
I think tonight, because I think it's at the premiere.
Yeah.
No, not this one. The article. I don't know when the article was when that was done. Like, I don't know if it was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. It's almost like they knew they had a gold mine with that headline, and they released that article strategically when they did, because it was right before. It was almost like blindsiding the actors, because this guy specifically asked James Gunn about MAGA. It's almost like they knew that MAGA was going to have a problem with this, and they waited so they could get these sound bites on the red carpet.
Yeah. That's all they wanted.
So I feel like these outlets, like Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Screen Rant, it seems like they are no longer in the business of actually trying to help films. They're in it for themselves now, and it's very obvious.
Yeah, whatever gets clicks.
Yeah.
That's been the case before.
Yeah, but it's been more prevalent. Before, they wouldn't do this to like Marvel or DC projects. They didn't do this before. You go back like 4 or 5 years, they weren't doing these kinds of hit pieces that were getting Marvel and DC in trouble.
No.
I don't, I do feel bad for these kind of, like, people who write articles or, like, do interviews, because those aren't it's really hard to make traction on those.
I don't think the writers come up with the headlines. I think the editors do.
Probably.
I think the editors do the headlines.
And because of the way that some of them are structured out too, and how lazily they're put together, I wouldn't be surprised if they outsource some of it to ChatGPT.
Oh, a lot of it. And here's the thing: they can get away with that now because no one reads articles. And
no one will put it through a screener.
Yeah. When his kid was bisexual, they kept saying Superman is gay now. It's like they knew they wouldn't say Clark Kent or Kal-El. They specifically said Superman because they didn't want to dive into like which character it actually was. They just wanted people to get mad about it.
Mm-hmm. It worked.
They had Dennis Kane with Dean Kane do a hood like he's not supposed to be gay. He's supposed to be a symbol for. Oh, shut up, you tubby.
No one lets you anyway.
If you're gonna comment on what Superman should be, maybe you should act more like Superman.
So Eric crashes. James Gunn had that's why I said he twerked all over that answer because that answer is like if you get mad at him for that response, you have to like weasel around that to get mad at him.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Like he said the movies for everybody.
James Gunn said,
"Thank you,
I'm
Jeffrey.
supposed to like this."
So good. So it is better tomorrow.
Yes,
so hopefully
yes.
that's what it is. Yeah.
It needs to stay that.
All right. So let's
I thought
see
it
what
was the
Sean.
American way.
So no.
Wait, never mind. I'm tweaking. Never mind. I'm half asleep. I'm sorry.
So that doesn't mean the same thing it used to. So
Right. So, well, several people have said the American way changes with every administration. So you never, when you say the American way, you're just representing whoever is in power at that point in time.
Yeah.
I
can't remember who
rest
said
my
that,
case.
All right, here we go.
Your boss, your brother, talked about Superman being an immigrant.
He sounds
And now
slow.
MAGA is already upset that he's called Superman an immigrant. I wanted to get your reaction.
He
You
sounds
know,
like a muppet.
my reaction to that is that it is exactly what the movie is about. I think that like.
Wait, hold on. What did you say?
You sound like a muppet.
I want to get this. I sound like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Well, no, to me, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like old school Yoda from the original
That's what
Star
I was
Wars.
thinking, yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Like, who let him go to? He's trying to get sound bites, and he sounds like that. I shut up.
MAGA mad they are. Opinion, can you give? Like, that's,
I don't mean to be an asshole, but yeah.
I touch your boss. You're great.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this guy's life, but it did give me Yoda vibes, right?
Your
So-
boss, your brother is.
My
Gave me
thing
Yoda
is-
vibes.
My thing is, you could tell he's so nervous trying to get these questions out. You literally.
Oh, he's
my
excited.
God.
No,
Oh my
he's
God.
excited. I've seen this guy do red carpet interviews for years. He's very
Yeah.
excited to ask controversial questions. He's really excited about it.
My thing is, he said, "I talked to your brother, your boss,
Right.
your James Gunn, your James Gunn." I didn't know he belonged to Sean, but okay.
All right, here we go.
Out, I think that like we support
He
our
sounds
people.
like James
You know, we love our immigrants. We love. Yes, Superman is an immigrant, and yes, the people that we support in this country are immigrants. And if you don't like that, then you're not American. People who say no to immigrants are against the American way. They're against what
Truth,
the American
justice, the
dream is
American
all
way?
about. Truth, justice, and the American way. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
They went very different approaches with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sean can afford to do it because he's not the boss of
Yeah.
DC Studios. So
yeah.
They need to start dyeing their hair back.
Which I mean, you know, he's 100% correct there.
Yeah.
Like
That is how you use that the American way side of Superman's
Right.
old moniker correctly.
Did he basically lie to his brother about like getting a quote from James Gunn about MAGA? Basically, he didn't say anything about MAGA.